recording. Stop moving. I'm so glad. My legs are so heavy. I hope he doesn't pick it up.
Well,
actually, I'll just sit this way because I fidget a lot and it stops me fidgeting. Alright.
rattling and rolling.
Stop rattling. Hi Joe, thank you for coming in for this interview today. I know you work with your clients and you do a lot of teaching and you work on many different levels, and when we're looking at healing we need to look at different areas, not just one. And I know something that you teach is the 6 foundation principles. So could you tell us more about that, please?
For sure. Look, we look at the 6 foundation principles as literally being the foundations to what creates and builds health for an individual. And I guess the first premise that I'd like to share and just plant a little seed in people's minds is that the physical body is a representation of the mind, thought, programming, belief system that we operate from. And so the body essentially is a reflection of the mind. So if there's disease in the body, we have to look at the mind relationship that is contributing to that. Now, depending on the health and vitality of that person at a physical level really determines how fast and how quickly we can go to the root cause of what is being manifested and expressed, represented in the body. Knowing that essentially it's our choices that create our experiences at a physical level, and our choices are built on our values, and our values are built on our beliefs. Our beliefs are built on the programming that we've inherited. Now, you can probably imagine that it's a lot easier to get someone to drink a glass of water and hydrate themselves than it is to have them sit down and start dismantling 20 years of a belief system that's got them to where they are today.
I would imagine.
So what we really have to assess in those 6 foundation principles is if thoughts and attitude are at the top, and if we just go through those 6 foundation principles again for our viewers to understand, thoughts and attitudes sit at the top and kind of represent, if you like, the top of the totem pole, because it becomes the control center for the rest of the body. So thoughts and attitude, underneath thoughts and attitude, you have breathing. But essentially, if you're not here with consciousness to think, then you won't be breathing. So breathing sits underneath, but we know also that depending on how we breathe, it can also affect how we think and feel. So if we have a dysfunctional breathing pattern where we're shallow breathing, we know that increases our thoughts, how quickly we think, and we go into, monkey chatter, and our thoughts start to race.
And you can feel that with people with anxiety because they're shallow breathing and it brings it on, so there's that connection that happens.
So you can see the reflection straight away between our thoughts can increase our breathing, but a dysfunctional breathing pattern at a physical level can affect our thoughts and our emotions. So then underneath we have hydration, water, good quality and quantity of water. So I can give our viewers a little formula they can go away and work out right this second as to how much water they need as an individual, okay? Because we've got to come away from this generic idea that one thing good for one person is going to be great for everybody. And that's one of the pitfalls we fall into with diets, thinking, one fits all. Same thing with water. We're on this standard idea that 8 glasses of water a day is what everybody should be on, when in actual fact the amount of water you need is based on your weight. So if we took a formula and we just went 0.033 times your body weight in kilos, gives you how many liters the body needs on an average daily basis just to run all the biochemical reactions in the body, just for the body to run itself. Okay? That's before the competition. So that's before heat, and temperature increases, that increases our need for fluid. That's before exercise. That's before choices that are naturally dehydrating to the body, whether that's smoking, alcohol, coffee, caffeine. Stinking thinking is highly dehydrating on the body. So use that formula and work out what your baseline is. I'll give you an example. I'm about 68 kilos and my baseline requirements are about 2.3 litres of water a day. Now that's before I take into consideration coffee if I have it, exercise if I have it, anything that might have too much sugar in it, because we know how dehydrating sugar is. So 2.3 litres is what I'm drinking in a day, plus what I feel my body needs to compensate for anything else that's dehydrating me in a day. So on average, I'll get through anywhere between 3 to 4 litres of water a day, and that really just depends on what my activity is and what's going on for. Okay? So we've got thoughts and attitude, we have breathing, we have hydration. And then we have nutrition, which of course is a very big part and often one of the first places I start with working with clients is what they're choosing to eat. Because we know that the moment anything passes our lips, it immediately changes the biochemistry of the body. So we can immediately get a difference in how we think and how we feel by what it is that we eat. Because what it is that we eat interacts with our hormonal system, our central nervous system, our biochemistry. It changes our neurotransmitters depending on what we eat. We can deplete ourselves of key neurotransmitters like serotonin, the catecholamines. All of these neurotransmitters that help to regulate our mood are highly sensitive to the foods we eat and the fluids we put into our mouth. So every time we eat, it's an opportunity to balance ourselves at a biochemical level, which means it's an opportunity to help regulate our mood. What we eat, we know, affects our blood sugar. We know that our blood sugar levels also affect how we think and how we feel. Low blood sugar levels often bring us on to feeling, some people faint, some people anxious, some people what we call hangry. And we need to, listen to these. These are signs, if you like, symptoms that the body, this is the way the body communicates to us. And if we learn, which is what I teach my clients, is starting to learn to have a relationship with your body. Learn what it is to listen to the communication the body is always giving us in relation to our choices. Okay, so we have nutrition, and nutrition and hydration are the two areas that I can get somebody to make a different choice in straight away. As much as their physical disease within the body may be due to a poor relationship or financial pressure or staying in a place of resentment and not being able to forgive somebody from a deed done 10 years ago, even though these might be the cause of the discomfort, the physical pain or the disease manifesting in the body, what I am able to do, because we all have to eat in a day and we all have to drink in a day, I can help to start to support the biochemistry of the body, which creates a stability or a baseline for the body to start feeling stable. The more stable the body feels, the more balanced the mental and the emotional reflection of that. Once we have stable biochemistry, I'm far more likely to be able to do the work with the individual where the work needs to be done at a root cause level. But somebody who is either in physical pain or their levels of vitality and energy are so low, they don't have the capacity to do the work at the mental and the emotional level. So we have to work at stabilizing the body first. Okay? And that essentially is what the 6 foundation principles are all about. Knowing that the control center, the psyche, the thoughts and the attitude are ultimately where the work needs to be done But to stabilize the biochemistry of the physical body so that we can do that work, we need to look at how that person is breathing, do a breathing assessment, teach them if required to breathe again. I think in 15 years I've had 2 clients that could breathe properly. So learning how to breathe diaphragmatically again, 2/3, 1/3, making sure that the ribs laterally expand, that the spine is breathing whilst we breathe. Because the breathing affects, again, the biochemistry of the body. So we look at giving them breathing exercises that helps to stabilize the central nervous system and helps to take them from a fight and flight or a sympathetic state back more into a parasympathetic state, where they can become more self-aware, more mindful, and more calm. We look at hydrating the body. Hydration, water is such an important component, element of the body. We're 75% water. Some books tell us a little bit more, but on average 75% water. Water holds and carries energy and information. And so making sure that we are taking in good quality water. And I'll qualify that. Water needs to have a broad spectrum of quality minerals in it for it to actually be called water. Because water, believe it or not, is an alive element. It's alive with organisms within it that help to balance things like our hydrochloric acid, things like our gut bacteria. And if the quality of water isn't what it should be, then A, we tend to just pee it completely out. But B, our cells aren't getting the nutrients that it needs. When our water doesn't carry the fundamental minerals in it, which act as the the minerals within water allow cells to talk to each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's an energy exchange. So they are electrical conductors, if you like, and that information exchange across cells is fundamentally run by the fact that A, we're hydrated enough for that communication to take place, but the quality of the water that our cells are hydrated with have the right constituency in order for that messaging to take place.
So for those of us that go to a shop and buy bottled water out of a plastic bottle, what would you say to them?
Well, I say there's always a rainbow bridge. If you're not drinking water at all, then that's step number 1. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because any water is better than no water. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if you're not drinking any water at all, tap water is a good place to start. But then once you are starting to drink water, we have to start to qualify the quality of water. And tap water is a form of filtered water whereby we don't get all of the nasties filtered out of that water that we'd like to. But what we do get is a lot of the things filtered out that we do need. So all the key minerals get filtered out of tap water. So we want to make sure that if we're drinking tap water that we buy a very simple, economic countertop filter. I got one at home. It was an investment of about, $190. And I only have to change the carbon filter once every 6 to 12 months. And that filters, 99.9% of all the nasties out. And then I remineralize my water with some good Celtic sea salt or Himalayan rock salt. And I do so at a taste level. It's not so that your water tastes salty. It's so that you can start to feel the texture of the water starts to change. It becomes softer as it becomes more alkaline. Mm-hmm. Okay, so tap water is very acidic. So what part of what alkalizes the tap water is adding good minerals to it. Okay, so we've got our breathing a little bit more under control. We're hydrating our body instantly. Just from hydrating our body, believe it or not, you're going to start to feel more energy. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, we've spoken a little bit about the nutrition and understanding that one man's food is another man's poison. So we've really got to look at what we call individual primal typing